Look how pretty that is. It's hydrating. It's glossy, but not too glossy where it's like, okay. But look how beautiful that shade is. Let me tell you, I love it. Guys, welcome back to the Clean Beauty Code. I am so excited for this video for two reasons. One, we're talking about new makeup. We're trying on a bunch of new makeup, doing reviews, all of that fun stuff, which I'm really excited because there's some products in here that I've gotten a bunch of questions on, so we're doing that. And also, I'm finally back. I've been missing in action for way too long, and that's because I was sick and I had vertigo for 4 weeks, which I've never had before. It was awful. I asked you guys for a bunch of suggestions of anything I could do. You guys gave great, like amazing suggestions and saved my life. So now I'm back and we're gonna be trying on makeup and I'm really excited. And I just kind of want to jump into this video and get started. So if you're excited for this video and more videos like this, then please like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this new clean makeup video. Okay, brought you in closer. Let's try some new makeup. So first we're gonna start with brows. As always, if I go with a clear brow product, I always go with the product first, just because I feel like it is just the way to go, and then you don't have to worry about the actual clear brow gel or whatever it is that you're using getting dirty with other products that might be on your face. So that's just always my preference. If I'm using a tinted brow product, which is rare, but when I do, I don't mind doing brows after I do my complexion. But in general, even if I do use a colored brow product, I do like to do my brows first because it just makes the makeup look a little bit better and I can see the vision a little bit better. I don't know what it is. Brows being done can really change how makeup looks. So let's get into it. The first brow product we're going to use today is from this brand. This is the TOOD Turn It On Soap Brows. And I was really intrigued to try this because I did read somewhere that this product is used a lot in like photo shoots and a lot of makeup artists use this. And so I was like, okay, no problem. Slap it in my cart. Let's try it out. And I've been trying it, testing it out. And this is just what it looks like here. Just like a classic soap kind of look. And then I like to use a spoolie. Now they do have like a brush type of thing that you can use on your brows. I didn't get that because it was really big, at least it looked big in my mind, and I don't really love the super gelled up brow look on me. It looks great on a lot of people, but sometimes it can look a little bit like your brows are surprised, like they just got scared. So I like to kind of use a spoolie because it lets me manipulate the product a little bit better, in my opinion, when something's a little bit smaller. So what I like to do is just spray a spoolie. You can spray the soap, but I think it's better to spray the actual thing that you're using. So I'm just gonna have a little spray bottle here, and I'm just gonna spray it a little bit. Just dampen it a bit and then just go in directly and just kind of rub on top of the soap. Now, I was really intrigued to try this just because, so I love a clear brow soap and I usually go with the Pears one. You can just buy it anywhere. It's a really small, clear, it's usually like an orangey color. I love that stuff. It's really good, but I was really intrigued to try this because a lot of soap brow products I've used haven't been my favorite. So I thought I'd give this a try. Now, my brows right now are not, they do not match. The energy is not matching at all. So we're gonna do our best to make it look kind of like one brow hair, one side the hairs are not as long as the other one. I don't know what's happening on this side. My brow hairs are so long, and on this side they look like they've been recently trimmed, but they haven't. I don't know what's going on. But I just like to brush it through and then just kind of, I don't like, again, the surprised brow look on me. On others it looks great. I'm gonna spray again just to get this wet a little bit more for this side, just so we make sure we're getting enough product. And then try to not over apply because I do, even though this is a clear brow product, I just think over applying brow products later, not necessarily in the moment, but later can be a mistake because especially if you have dark hair, like your hair color is dark, because it can show up a little bit. This one doesn't show up much if I over apply it, but you can over apply it, so just be careful. And oh, my scar is really popping out today, isn't it? The scar is there and it's never going away. So what I really like about this brow product is it dries pretty quickly. So you don't really have to worry too much about waiting for it to dry and waiting to do your brow pencil if you do use that, which is really, really nice. Now this is a brow soap, so when you are going to fill it in, just kind of be mindful with the type of product you're using, because sometimes if you're using a super, super waxy brow pencil, which there aren't that many out there, but if you are using a super waxy one, it can kind of like cling to the hairs. So that's just something to note so that you don't end up looking crazy and messing up the shape. So then next we're gonna go on with a new brow pencil, and we're gonna go on with this one from Victoria Beckham Beauty. This is their, what is this called? Their Victoria Beckham Beauty Baby Blade Microfined brow pencil. Anytime there's like gold writing on something that's a light color, my eyes are like, nope, not gonna be able to read those words. And I was really, really intrigued by this because this is expensive. Now, if you know me, you know my favorite brow pencil is the Westman Atelier brow pencil. And that is about $38, which is expensive, but to me, with how much product you get, one of them has lasted me a year. That's crazy. So with how much product you get, for me, it actually ends up being cheaper in the long run based off of how often I would have to like purchase a new brow pencil. So I wanted to see if this kind of is the same. You get less product with this. The shade I got in this is the shade dark brown, I believe. So I was intrigued to see if I would also find this worth it or comparable worth it wise. Now I'm going to try and fill in, especially I have a scar right here, if you can see. We're going to attempt to fill it in. What I will say is this isn't like a perfect, this is a little bit warm in shade, so I don't like to over apply this, just slightly. My hairs are really, really dark and definitely more on the like cool, almost like black looking hair, like really, really like ashy, like a gray would be better than like a brown because my hairs are so dark. So this one does have a little bit of warmth to it, and that's not a bad thing. It's just I don't like to over apply this because it ends up looking more apparent if I'm not careful. And we're just gonna lightly fill in, nothing crazy. What's nice about this brow pencil with this brow gel is that it doesn't cling to the soap, so it doesn't end up looking very it doesn't cling to the soap. Sometimes that happens and it ends up looking a little crazy, or it can end up looking crazy. Now the tip is very fine. As you can see, it's very small tip, but it isn't the finest tip I've ever used. I know for some this might still not be fine enough. Some people like a teeny tiny tip, which I totally get, and because it just makes it easier to fill in hairs. But I do enjoy what my brows look like when I use this, and I don't feel like it is looking apparent or anything like that. Okay, brows are on. What do you guys think? I did my best to try to make them match, but my eyebrows are not even sisters. They're distant, like aunts. Like they will never match. But I do feel like it looks pretty good. And if I get up close and I haven't over applied the brow pencil, which I try to go heavy-handed sometimes and light-handed sometimes to really see how I like a shade, truly like up close. When I don't over-apply the brow pencil, the shade matches really good, but when I do overdo it, especially when I have to fill in the scar, sometimes it's a little bit more apparent that the shade match isn't there. But I really enjoy the way that this looks. Now, I know I'm going to get some questions on how I feel like it compares to the Westman Atelier. I still prefer the Westman Atelier one. The Victoria Beckham Beauty Brow Pencil is really, really nice. But I will say it's very, very expensive for a brow pencil for how little product you get. And the product is great. It's a beautiful product. The packaging is great. It has a nice spoolie. It feels expensive. but I do feel like you can find more affordable brow pencils out there for something that works really, like, just fills in your brows. But I will say the longevity is really nice on this one. The way that it applies is really nicely. And I do feel like if you struggle finding a good shade match in a brow product, this is definitely worth checking out. But again, I do believe it, I feel like, I can't remember, this was a while ago when I bought this. I do feel like it was $34, which so expensive. So I don't feel like for a brow pencil, this will be worth it for everyone. I do enjoy it. However, again, I prefer the Westman Atelier one. I feel like the shade match is a little bit better. I feel like the wear is a little bit better, at least on me it is. And I feel like it lasts me a lot longer. This one I will run out of way faster than I would ever run of the Westman Atelier one. But this is a beautiful product. So it's all up to personal preference. Okay, so next I'm gonna apply a skin tint. This is not one that's new, but we're gonna apply the Westman Atelier skin tint, and this is in the shade X. I'm gonna do 2 drops on the back of my hand, and I'm just gonna apply it directly to my face with my fingers and blend that out. I want a very light makeup look today, so we're not gonna go crazy. I really like this product, and especially moving into like the colder months, because it feels like skincare and it's really hydrating. And I know someone's gonna yell at me and be like, why are you talking about fall? It's because it's my favorite season. It's mid-August-ish. What date is it? It's mid-August-ish. It's fall. It's now Halloween to me. And I know someone's gonna yell at me and say, don't wish summer away, but I'm not a summer person. Listen, there's something amazing about all the seasons that I can find that I like, but I'm a fall girly. I just am. Next, we're gonna move on to the Coolfee concealer. I don't even know if I finished my statement about fall, but either way, I like the Westman Atelier, the complexion drops, and I feel like in fall it's gonna be great because it's gonna keep my skin feeling really hydrated, not tight. It has like so much skincare quality to it, but it's not gonna end up making my face feel, sometimes your face can feel a bit crunchy once like those nice fall winds come and your face is all of a sudden like feels constricted. You don't have that with this product. So next we're just gonna blend out the concealer. I'm just gonna use my finger, nothing too crazy. Okay, love that. We're not gonna set my face just yet because I do have other stuff I'm gonna apply, but I'm gonna go on with a bronzer. I'm just gonna go on with a easy powder bronzer. This has quickly become, this brush here from Hourglass, which I know it's expensive, but this Hourglass like dual powder brush has quickly become my favorite for applying bronzers. It just, the way that it blends is so nice. So next we're gonna apply some blush, and I have this blush today. This is from Summer Fridays, and this is their Multi Balm Stick in the shade Dusty Rose. I always go with, for every day, I love a blush color like this. It gives a little bit of something without doing too much. Sometimes the brighter pinks, which I also love, can be a little bit too much and feel a little bit too harsh for every day, at least for my routine. So I really enjoy a shade like this. It's very, very pretty. I'm gonna do a little swatchy poo on the back of my hand for you so you can see. It is just such a pretty everyday shade. And what I like to do with this is I like to take just a brush and apply it with the brush. In general, I don't love putting product, especially blush, directly on my cheeks. I find when I do that, I pick up product a lot, and it just, I don't have as much control on placement. I really enjoy this brush for applying blush. This is the Sephora Pro 93. I actually just got a new blush brush that I've been testing out that is kind of similar in the fact that it's slanted. It's just smaller, and I've been testing it, and it is nice, but this one is really, really, really good. And Sephora products are great. Sephora branded products are great to buy during the Sephora sales, which there will be one coming up. So it's good to say, because there's always like 30% off Sephora branded product, which is great. Look how pretty it is. It's just such a pretty shade. I love this. And the formula is really nice. I like the way that it wears throughout the day. I don't feel like it's patchy when it wears off. I feel like it's just nice. It gives a nice glow without it being too much. And it doesn't, by the end of the day, it's not like fully gone. I do feel like there's a little bit left. So it does have a nice wear with it. It's not the, I mean, cream blushes in general are not going to be like the most long lasting on earth unless you set them with something to kind of hold them in place. But this is a nice product. I really enjoyed the way that it wears, the way it applies. This is a nice one for traveling because I find it so easy to apply. You just kind of like throw it in your bag and you kind of, this formula is just super easy and simple to use. I also really like the Ilia multi-sticks, kind of in the same vein, the Victoria Beckham cream blushes. They're just a really easy application product where you just know no matter what, it's going to apply seamlessly and look nice. This is a really nice product. Highly recommend checking it out. Okay, so the next I'm going to do a little bit of bronzer in my crease. Nothing too crazy. Just a little bit in my crease. And then we're also going to take a little bit on the lower lash line. I'm also going to take a little bit of this Tower 28. This is their multi-liner, and this is in the shade Draw Me, I believe. Yeah, Draw Me. It's like a dark brown. And I'm going to do a little bit on my lid as eyeliner. And I'm going to take a little bit of a slightly darker shadow and just on the edge here, add a little bit of dimension, but it's not going to be too much. It's only going to be halfway through the eye. All right, I'm going to throw on some mascara. Just going to go in with my Always Obsession, the Jones Road Beauty. Okay, so then next we're moving on to highlighter, and that's kind of going to be a two-parter type situation. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Minori highlight, and then I'm going to put the product that is kind of new to this channel. I'm going to use it on top of that to kind of show you the deal. So again, just taking a little bit of the Minori highlighter. This is in the shade Champagne. I'm going to kind of dip my finger into it, put it a little bit on the back of my hand so I don't have too much. Look how pretty that is. I'm just gonna kind of apply it right to the the tops of my cheeks, and really just kind of melt it into the skin. I don't love to over apply highlight for every day. A lot of the time it can be a little bit too intense. I used to love, still do, love a blinding highlight moment, but I do feel like it's kind of time or place type of situation. Sometimes it can be a little bit much. I'm going to also do a little bit just on my nose. I do love how that looks, just a little bit. The Minori highlighter is just unmatched. Highly recommend checking this out. To me, it's, no matter how many highlighters have come out in the last couple of years, this one kind of stands alone for me. It's just so good. It has the perfect amount of blindiness. It melts into the skin. The formula itself, like texture-wise, is thin, but it has longevity. I don't know. This is really good. They only have two shades. I believe it's a more golden-y shade than this, and then the Champagne. In general, when I go for highlight, I tend to go with something that's a little bit more champagne. There are occasions I will go with something more golden, but that's more of a summer shade for me. So then on top of that, we're going on with the Tower 28. This is their, what is this called? Super Dude, and it's in just clear. And I really enjoy this product, and I like to wear it on top of highlighters I've already applied or alone. Today, I just thought it'd be fun to do it on top. And I like to take a little bit on my finger, and I just like to, do you see the highlight that's there already? And then we're just going to kind of place it and just look at it. It intensifies it, but it also just gives like the most glossy, beautiful finish. Just love how healthy it makes my cheeks look. You don't have to layer it on top of anything. It also just gives like a beautiful sheen if you're not layering it on top of a highlighter or whatever. I normally don't layer it on top of highlighters just because I like it alone, but it does give a nice extra sense of like super healthy dewy looking skin if you do use it on top of a highlighter, and kind of just highlights that highlighter even more, but you don't have to do that. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to set my face with a little bit of powder. I'm just going to take this powder here from Ami Collet, and I'm just going to do a little bit of powder on a brush. This is actually an Ami Collet brush. This is called the powder brush. They actually sent me this. This is a nice powder brush, and I do like to take powder off on my hand first, and then I'm just going to apply specifically under the eye. So now we're moving on to lips. So I'm very excited. We have 2 products for lips today. First is this. This is from Exa Beauty, their new lip liners. I ordered 2 shades. I ordered the shade Barrier Strength and Bare Your Truth. One more brownie, one more pink. There are 2 brown shades, which I was really happy to see, and one darker and one kind of more mid brown shade. And then there were a bunch of like more pinky, kind of neutrally tones. And I was very excited because I love lip liner. Lip liner's the best. So first, I have here's the pinky shade, and this one is Barrier Strength. Now, I was very unsure of what pinky tone to go for, and I feel like at least the shade I picked, the shade versus what I got, even like swatch-wise, is not necessarily the most accurate in my opinion. So this is the pinky tone. It looks very, very pink on me. I have to admit, I don't love this shade. On me, it looks a little bit crazy. I have to kind of balance it with other shades, but the formula is really nice of these lip liners. It kind of just glides on, and the wear is really nice. So if you're a big fan of Victoria Beckham Beauty, their lip liners, which you know are life to me, you will probably really enjoy this formula. This is almost creamier in the way that it, like, I don't know if creamier is the right word, but it kind of glides on a little bit more seamless than the Victoria Beckham Beauty one, which is really, really nice. And then the other shade I got is the shade Bare Your Truth, which is a more browny tone. I got the mid tone of the 2 browns. I didn't go for the fully dark one, but look how beautiful that shade is. Let me tell you, I love it. And I love that it's a sharpener one. I don't love lip liners that are twist up because first of all, I just feel like you get less product, but also the likelihood of them breaking is a little bit more. I don't know. I love a sharpener lip liner, and we're going to apply this one because this one definitely looks the best on me. And you're gonna look how pretty that is. Look at that. She's so good. And we're going to line our lips with this. I just love a brown lip liner. What do you guys feel about brown lip liner? Let me know. It's so good, you guys. I love the shade. Definitely gonna grab the darker brown shade as well. And then maybe try, because I really like the formula, try and find a pink shade that kind of works for me in there, but I love a brown lip liner, so I'm totally fine with the brown just being the only one that works for me. Because you can never have too many brown lip liners. I swear, I don't care what your complexion is. I don't care who you are. You need it. Trust me. Find a good brown lip liner that works for you, and you can make the best perfect shade matches for you lip shade wise. It's just so good. Anyways, next we're going to move on to another lip product, and it's this one from Rituel De Filles. This is their Thorn Bite Peptid Plump Cream Lip Oil, and you know how I feel about like a hydrating lip product. And I got the shade Rose Crutch, which is just like such a pretty shade, and I got this thinking this will be a really good year-round shade for me, but also really good going into the colder months, because I mean, just look how pretty that is. It's just so pretty. So at first I was like, when I got it in, I was like, oh, maybe this won't be a nice shade. And then I applied it and I was like, I'm wrong, because it's perfect. It is such a good shade. And it is just, look at it. Look how pretty that is. It's hydrating. It's glossy, but not too glossy, where it's like, okay, one piece of wind and all your hair stuck to it. Like, it's not that type of intensity with like stickiness and shininess. Because sometimes with shine comes way too much stickiness. This doesn't have that. It's very silky feeling and smooth feeling. It is just so, so good. I love this. And you truly can't go wrong with this shade. And I feel like it'll look good on a lot of different complexions. They have a lot of shade options, but I'm really happy I went with this one. Now, I really, really enjoy this formula. I know I'm gonna get a question about this one versus the Rowan Beauty one. Formula-wise, I prefer the Rowan Beauty one just because that one smooths my lips a little bit more than this one, but this one still has smoothing qualities. It still has the nice same silkiness, but when it comes to smoothing, crusty, dusty, fussy, looking just dry lips, the Rowan Beauty one is a little bit, but not significantly, but a little bit better than this one. However, this one is amazing and I love this formula. And it's just, I mean, the shade is beautiful. The formula is beautiful. It's very, very nice. And the component is really nice. It feels very hefty, really expensive. It has a slight scent to it, but it isn't overwhelming. The scent is earthy. Yeah, it has like an earthy scent to it. I really, really enjoy this. Again, if I had to pick between this one or the Rowan Beauty one, I would go with the Rowan Beauty one just because I feel like that formula for my specific dehydrated, never seen moisture lips, it just smooths my lips a little bit more, but this one still has smoothing quality. So this is really, really good. And yeah, that's it for this video. That is it for my new clean makeup video. I would love to know, what are your current favorites? Do you have any products that you want to see reviews on? There are so many products coming out. I have so many orders coming in. There's so many concealers that are launching. It just, every time fall comes, there's so many good things about fall. But first of all, the vibes. Vibes are high in fall. The best types of vibes, can my phone be quiet? The best type of vibes are high in fall. And there's so many new product launches, which I really, really like because I mean, I love testing new products and letting you know whether I think they're worth it or not. So I love when fall comes because once it's kind of the end of fall is near, there's going to be a bunch of new products, and that's just the best. So yeah, let me know down below what products you want to see reviews on. And yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.